When I knew we were going onto the low SES National Partnerships Program, I was very excited about it, and I didn't have too much difficulty in convincing staff that we were now going down this path on this program. The training that we participated in, that the region provided for us, was absolutely invaluable. The training was at two levels. It was the formal training, and then it was the school development officer and the SED coming out and supporting us through that initial setup. It provided us with the opportunity or the insight as to what sort of terms of reference we should be working inside of. It also provided us with the framework around what quality practice indicators that we would look at, and makes the decisions then as a team about, well, if these are the things we're going to go away and look at up against our terms of reference, well, what methodology are we going to use? It essentially gave us the tools, gave us the framework. Without it, it wouldn't have been as successful as what it's been. The situational analysis took us down the path of looking at a number of areas of the school organisation and structure, professional learning needs of staff, student engagement, community engagement. Our term of reference was looking at how leadership, teaching and community activities all contributed to the quality of student learning outcomes at the school. Working up against those quality practice indicators, investigating those quality practice indicators and the systems that were attached to them, and referencing it constantly back to the terms of reference allowed us the pathway and the opportunity to really investigate exactly what was happening at our school and to see where improvements could be made. The situational analysis has led to the improvement in leadership across the school community, particularly by way of distributing it. There have been people who have been given the opportunity. There's been a level of trust that's been afforded to them to take on the analysis and looking at a specific part of it. The process that we set up was that the school improvement team was broken down into parts. They were given an area to go away and look at. They were also given opportunity to make some decisions about the quality practice indicators to look at and what methodology was going to be applied. Those people walked away, sat with the small team of people that were going to work on the same area. They made some decisions about how they were going to do it. They came back to me and we looked at it and said, yes, let's go ahead. And then there was a hands-off approach. And they were allowed then to just go and investigate, to ask the questions, to explore the different types of methodologies. And that included a range of things which allowed them to get into classrooms and do classroom observations, to develop their leadership abilities in terms of looking at documents, how to look at documents from a critical point of view to see what they're saying, to see whether or not they're serving the purpose that they've been written for, to run focus groups. So the distributed leadership has been fantastic for our school community. We already have a high level of community engagement while in public school. We've got committees, we've got opportunities where the community can engage with us. Such examples of that would be, we have an Aboriginal parent committee, we also have an Aboriginal education team, we have got a highly active P&C, we have committees, structures in the school where community are highly involved in working with us in our work. When the opportunity came about and I talked to the P&C, I spoke to the local AECG about this opportunity, and we had no problems in them when we said who would like to be on the school improvement team. It was really about having to cull more than look for people to volunteer. People were highly interested, highly enthused and wanted to be part of the action. So they very quickly became involved, and I, at the very first meeting, explained to them the amount of work that they were going to be asked to do. And they didn't shy away. They could see this as an enormous opportunity. And so we set up our team. We had representation from the classroom teachers, from the SAS staff at the school, representation from the AECG, of which there were 3 members from the AECG. We had members from the P&C. We had the CLO who was involved, and the Schools as Community Centre facilitator was involved. So we had a broad range of people who willingly gave their time, very generously gave their time, and worked tirelessly through the situational analysis process. And so it was a very rich and it was a very deep process because we had really strong community input. And without that, I don't think we would have been able to get the quality of the data and the information back from the community that we've got. The training, again, it provided us with that process in that we were challenged not just to rely on one particular type of data, that if we had a finding or if something was coming up in a particular type of data, e.g. a survey, well, don't just rely on that. Go and have a look at some other areas, either through a document study or through a focus group or through some other process, and to test that data and say, or that bit of information and say, well, is that what's really happening? If I could give an example, we have found that there's been a drop-off in student engagement from Year 2 to Year 3. This process gave us the opportunity to use a triangulation process, which involved looking at quality school life information, looking at student performance data, looking at student attendance information, and then finally getting to the children and asking, well, what's really going on? And it was that range of data that we were then able to make a finding and reach a conclusion about what was happening about that transition from Year 2 to Year 3 and why there was this drop-off. And clearly, in terms of our strategic action from this point, there will be an action that will be put in place through the low SES program to ensure that the engagement remains at the level that we would be satisfied with. It's critically important that students are highly involved in this process. We, time and time again, after having a look at a range of sources of data, stopped and said, yes, this is good information, it's probably close to what a finding might be, but let's go and check with the kids. The kids were highly involved in terms of focus groups. They were on SurveyMonkey completing surveys. There was direct conversations with them about what was happening. We conducted quality teaching surveys with them. We did the quality of school life survey with them. There was a range of opportunities in which the children could be inputting into the process. There were some very interesting findings that came out about, for example, the quality teaching surveys, which we did with both staff and with students, and clearly often teachers will describe themselves as quality teachers, and that certainly was the case in our surveys. But when we went and checked with the children, they didn't really rate the quality teaching at the same level. In relation to the quality of school life surveys, we noted that from the students, and we explored this further with students through a focus group, that they rated the sense of adventure in their learning at the lowest level, and that deteriorated over the time that they were with us from Year 2 to Year 6. So there were those opportunities that can't be missed. The children need to be involved, the students need to have a say, and it's not just through the leadership of the school. We have a very strong leadership program, but kids right across the school have got something to say. Even the kindergarten children in their own way can give you very valuable information which needs to be harnessed and tapped into. One of the things that have come out of the National Partnerships program, in low SES program, is we've been able to really strongly engage with other schools and local schools. One of those schools is actually a low SES school, and the principal of that school and I have had ongoing meetings as we've worked through this process about what we're finding, what we're concluding, and at the end, what strategic actions we could share in common and how we could add value to each of our programs. It's also gone more broadly than that. We're part of a local management group, and which includes 9 local schools, and an agenda item at the local management group meeting over the last little while has been about the low SES National Partnerships program, and they are very interested in what's happening, and they are clearly interested in terms of what sort of influence it might have over a larger group of schools. And some of the actions that we've put into our plans, proposed or anticipated actions, certainly would be including other school communities to have some access to some of the opportunities that are coming about by the low SES program. One of the things that both my school, Wyong Primary School, and the local nearby National Partnership schools, Wyong Grove, is we're considering the employment of a highly accomplished teacher, and we would share that position. It's the rich understanding that we've developed about our school community. It is the depth of which we've been able to go. It's the opportunity to stop with a large group of people and take the time to really look at what's happening. And then with those understandings, being able to go forward and look at what sort of school we want to create over the next few years and provide the best possible service for the children of the Wyong community. It's really strengthened that sense of common purpose, common vision, what do we want to create. And we've had a wonderful opportunity to sit as a school and say, okay, let's just think now, 2015, the National Partnership money's come and gone. We've done all the activities that we said we're going to do. What sort of school would we have created by then? And it was just outstanding to listen to the staff talk about the fantastic school it's going to be in 2015 at the end of this program.